At the Redskin 24, Mayfield takes a shotgun snap, looks, throwing middle, up, caught it, touchdown, it's Higgins! Baker Mayfield on fire, and he goes into the end zone with the rest of the offense, and they snap a picture of Higgins in the left corner. And that's how it's going to go, everybody. 24 yards and a touchdown. Shotgun, Haskins back, looks, lobs, near side, it's picked off. Mack Wilson's got it, the rookie from Alabama. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown into the end zone. Mack Wilson. Here's Haskins looking, firing down the middle, and that is picked off. They got it. Greedy Williams has got it at the 25, and he spins out over the 25 to the 27-yard line. And the Browns rookies are coming up big. Woodrum back to pass. Inside his 20, a lot of time. Throws middle, and it's picked off. It's Mack Wilson again. The daily double. He's got 2 picks. Backpedaling. Sheehy Giuseppe's got it at the 14, juggled. Now he's to the 20, 25, here he goes, 30, 40, he's to the 50, he's to the 40, now he's in open field, 20, 10, 5, touchdown! Damian Sheehy Giuseppe! And the entire Browns team races down into the end zone! This is how it will be when we win the AFC. A scene just like that. 86 yards.
And welcome back, Survivors, episode 17, season 4. This is Surviving the Season, live from the Bayswater Studios in Tampa, Florida. I'm Adam. Greg's here.
You. What is up?
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? We are back. The Browns are in Indianapolis doing a joint practice before their preseason game, week 2 in Indianapolis. Couple things from there. Anything good? Anything bad? Odell Beckham Jr. dealing with a hip injury. Always not good.
It seems like we have a lot of minor injuries going on right now. Did you get a chance to watch Building the Browns?
I did. Yeah, it was awesome.
Okay, so did you hear Dave and Njoku? They were talking about, who was it? Sheldrick Redwine, I believe, that came up to him and was talking about, hey man, the speed of the game is not like outrageous or anything. And Njoku was saying, yeah, it's because Freddie's, pushing us so hard in practice, so the games seem easier than our practices.
You're saying in game 1, Redwine was mic'd up, right? And then
yes.
They caught that conversation on the sideline?
Yes, I should have did a better job of telling that story. But yes, exactly. And Njoku's talking about how hard practices have been. So I'm wondering if that's just part of the toughness of practice right now, catching up to the Browns. We're a couple weeks in. It seems like the Freddie Kitchens era is different than the Hugh Jackson era in that aspect of you're not going to get days off, veteran days off. You're going to be out there practicing. And you're going to be getting sore. You're going to be hitting hard in pads a lot. Yeah,
but there seems to have been veteran days off. I guess maybe they're not doing all the drills or they're off to the side. But for the most part, I guess everybody is at least doing something. Freddie did say, I don't know how many times, this is going to be a tough football team. We're going to be physical. We're going to be known for our toughness. Starting in practice, I guess, is where you get that underway.
Yeah. And I guess take out the veteran days off comment. What I meant is just the fact that they're going to be hitting every single day and not getting, Hugh was doing it like with Duke. He was almost on a pitch count sort of thing. And not even that Freddie was saying that was stupid. He was just saying, hey, I want the guys in practice at the time, because it does seem like when you're there, there's obvious days where Njoku is getting a light workload. There's days where Landry and Beckham have been getting light workloads.
Yeah,
clearly
that makes sense, though, too.
They seem to be practicing every day. It's not like they're taking the full day off. They're just going to go, okay, you're going to take less reps today.
Right. Because also we need to work through who our guys behind you are as well.
Yeah, but there does seem to be a lot of nagging injuries. Like, for one, and I don't even... Like, is Seth DeValve back yet?
He did not travel with the team to Indianapolis.
Okay,
at all.
Is the other, why is his name slipping my mind? The other tight end.
Farrow?
From Kansas. Yeah. Who?
Farrow didn't. Fuck.
Not Farrow Brown, no.
I know who you're talking about, the kid from Kansas City, but that kid traveled.
He did travel. Okay. So maybe his concussion he's ready to go.
Harris.
Yes. Thank you.
Well,
this is why I hate doing this right after work.
I know.
My brain does not function.
Just so we don't give bad info here, let me make sure that he went. He is dealing with a concussion. Okay. 2 days ago. It's unclear if the Browns are being cautious day to day. I don't have the list. There was 3 dudes that did not travel to Indy. DeValve is one of them, and he is in very thin ice here to make the team, if you ask me.
Well, and then the Browns go, and I'm sure we're going to get there. They end up signing another tight end. You know, how much does that have to do with Pharaoh Brown? He doesn't look ready to be a NFL tight end, third tight end at this point. Now, Rico Gathers has a career. Let's see here. Three career catches in 15 games. So, you're not bringing in a sure thing here, but this is a guy that is just like super athletic. They have him listed here at 6'6", 280. I saw another thing. I had him 6'8", 280. So apparently he's either growing or shrinking. Don't know. One or the other here, according to 2 different websites. But that's a big boy. Almost. I mean, that's the size of Myles Garrett. Let's be honest. This is a big dude. Super athletic. I don't even think he played college ball. I believe he played college basketball and was one of those. And John Dorsey's shown that he's willing to take a liking to a guy that's super athletic. I mean, Demetrius Harris is one of these guys also. So they're bringing in Rico Gathers, and then that makes you think: is this the injuries that we're dealing with? Because now we hear Njoku's getting lighter workload days. Both, the number 2, number 3 tight ends are out with injuries. Pharaoh Brown doesn't look up to snuff. Let's bring in another body. I feel like outside of tight end 1 and 2, we don't know what's going to happen there. It's completely open right now.
Yeah, well put.
But that's another thing. I mean, Olivier Vernon wasn't practicing a number of days. I'm not sure if he's back. He was dealing with a thing. You said, Odell also on that list. Kareem Hunt is finally back practicing.
Yeah, said he looked good in their
That's good.
First joint practice. Yeah, he was impressive, according to a couple reports.
So, it just seems like a lot of little nagging injuries. Yeah. And I guess if you're going to have those, you take care of it now. And of course, 2 weeks into the season, they're just going to be ultra cautious with everybody and make sure that they can get you back on the field sooner rather than later.
Yep. Denzel Ward hasn't been in team drills much and sat them out yesterday. Freddie said he doesn't think there's any doubt he'll be ready to go for the season.
Yeah, well, that's 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
So there's another one. All right, what's going on with him?
Yeah. Okay, here's the 3 dudes that did not travel. It's DeValve, Kyle Kalis, and Brian Price.
Okay, and Kyle Kalis got the concussion last week in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Brian Price is he's going to be a guy that's on the bubble. And, Devereaux Lawrence, he's going to be battling with Coley, and he's trying to get one of those spots. And, for him to miss any time, that's going to be rough.
Devereaux Lawrence got some likes there.
Give me them likes, baby.
From our boy Jake Burns.
Yeah, like I said, the 3 days I was there, he was making plays, and then he comes out, of course, and makes, has a nice little game. Went back second time through, and he took advantage of that guard that got the 3.2 grade that we talked about from.
Oh, okay, so that's why Lawrence's scores are high.
Well, I mean, he took advantage of that. I mean, you can only play the guy that's in front of you,
mm-hmm.
right? So think about this: he's going up every day against the Browns' right guard, which nobody, it seems like Cush has the leg up there, but I'm not sure if the Browns are totally sold on Cush at this point. And then, you get the game against the Redskins where you go up against this guy who has the single worst score that I've ever seen in the history of Pro Football Focus. Good for him, but I'd like to see him go against, maybe a front line here. What are we planning? What usually happens in week 2 with the starters?
I would say probably a quarter.
A quarter or a half. Is that usually how they do it?
They'll probably catch a full half in the third game.
Yeah, so I wouldn't mind if maybe you got Lawrence out there a little bit earlier. Maybe gets against some first team reps, maybe.
Yeah,
and to see how he's doing against better competition. I mean, we know the first game and the fourth game are really basically throwaways. I mean, it's good that guys get out there and get a chance to play, but they're not going against the stiffest competition. And when you're going against guys that aren't going to be making the NFL team, you expect to be winning those way more often than not. And so he did. Kudos to Lawrence for doing that. Kudos to Chad Thomas. We'll get into him in a second too, because he also was winning those reps. But you want to see them go against some guys that are going to be everyday NFL players rather than guys that are, CFL players.
Yeah. So if you get them in a little bit earlier, you can kind of see what they can bring.
Yeah. That's what my thinking is anyways, with trying to get him good reps against, which he does in practice. He's getting reps. Well, he's mostly getting reps against the twos also in practice when you think about it, because the ones are going up with the ones most days. Maybe it's a little different when they're in Indianapolis.
I didn't see a lot of the coverage from yesterday.
What was Mary Kay saying?
So the 7-on-7 and the 11-on-11 portions, the Colts don't allow to be filmed.
Mm-hmm. And was she shitting on the Browns, or was that like? See, I felt like she had put that up there. The Colts don't allow the 7-on-7, 11-on-11 to get filmed, but the Browns do. I felt like don't put that up there. We go to practice, we film stuff, and then we want to put it on our website for the fans. Yeah. Don't say that, right? Now, are you trying to get our content taken away, Mary Kay?
Yeah, probably.
Don't shit on the little guy. Okay, that's what she's trying to do. That's what I felt like that was. Well, the Colts don't do it. Maybe the Browns shouldn't do it because I got to stand there with my phone and come up with actual content now.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to see it. I mean, I don't know if she was saying anything. Just maybe that's why they weren't putting out any video. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, definitely felt like that's why she said it. Well, we can't do it here. The Browns, but the Browns allow it.
Yeah.
Should the Browns allow it? My article next week.
The Browns will tell you straight up what they're doing. They don't care. They're ready. They called Washington and told them that they were going to. They said, "Look, we're going to run. Hurry up! So get involved. Get ready because we're coming." All right. Anyway, let's get into some moves we had. You mentioned Rico Gathers a little bit earlier. He came in. Orson Charles is out.
Dude, we've got probably the top basketball team in the league. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, he's also suspended for the first game for a weed infraction.
Oh my God! Come on. Sorry.
Yeah.
Weed.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how maybe he caught an arrest or something. I don't know. I think it's one game for the.
Imagine it being 2019 and you're catching a arrest for marijuana. That's like when every single time they put you look in these online newspapers and they'll be like, the cops have a arrest and they're like, hey, we got these baggies of weed, and all the comments are like, you pieces of shit. Like, why are you harassing people? They're just smoking a little weed.
Well, according to Cowboys Wire, there have been whispers that Gathers is not a hard worker.
No.
Team brass were less than enthused with his work that he put in last season, and he clearly had not turned a significant corner and progressed.
Well, he's meeting that stereotype, isn't he? How dare you, Rico? How about the nephew of Hank Gathers? You remember Hank Gathers?
Yeah, I think so.
What was the team? Loyola Marymount? Is that the team where he collapsed during the NCAA finals? Not the finals, but the NCAA tournament and had a heart attack?
Oh, yeah. Huh. I didn't know that.
Yep. Well, who knows? That's what I read yesterday, but they also tried telling us that the Metcalf kid was related to Eric Metcalf that came out from Ole Miss this year. And then that was on Google.
That's or that was on not be true.
Well, nobody still to this day seems to know. But anyways, I think you're getting to the Orson Charles cut, right?
Yeah, I mentioned that he got cut. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no sad faces over here by me, that's for sure. I've never been a fan of Orson Charles. I feel like, he was sort of those tweener. You're not really a fullback. You're not really a tight end. But we're going to put you at both because we don't have another choice. And now they bring in Joe Carriage from Green Bay, 6 foot, 245, and a true fullback.
Oh, damn.
Does this? I'm thinking this might have had something to do with the lack of running lanes, maybe in goal line, that sort of thing. Maybe because I'm not sure how often we're going to run with a fullback.
Right, I don't see it happening much.
Yeah, so there'll be obvious times that you want to try to plow the ball forward for a yard or two, but I would hope this Carriage plays some special team snaps because Orchard Charles was doing that. We'll see. 12 career games, 1 rush for 4 yards, 1 reception for 3 yards. So don't pick him up in fantasy. If you're a Green Bay player, I feel like if you didn't really like what the coaches were doing, you could just mouth back at the coaches at this point and be like,
I'm going to Cleveland.
I'm gonna end up in Cleveland.
Sorry, I fucking stepped on your punchline like a
what were you saying?
Amateur. I screamed your punchline before you.
Oh yeah, like I'm out of here, buddy.
Super amateur of me.
Like there's no way that I'm if you don't want me, if you're not gonna play me, I'll just go to Cleveland and play. They'll pick me up. You'll see.
Yeah, another sort of fringe guy. Bring him in, see what he can do.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll get a couple of games with him here. We ran with a fullback last year, from sometimes. I find it hard to believe that you'd pick him up this late if you weren't going to be playing a fullback. If you got to think they were having a meeting and Freddie goes, "Look, man, I need a fullback that can actually pave the way for a running back, like actually hit somebody when he gets into the hole and make a block instead of whiff, or can we get a true fullback, please?"
Yeah, we'll see. Hilliard got hurt yesterday. He's got a leg injury. Didn't really seem to be serious. And an update from today, a guy that we talked about earlier, Devarro Lawrence, he got an ankle injury in practice yesterday. So,
oh, great.
Yeah.
Major injury?
Again, that one seems like it's not a big deal either.
Well, that's tough luck for him. Imagine missing these last 3 games and you're trying to make the roster.
Yeah.
Terrible, terrible time to be on the bubble and get an injury. Speaking of injuries, how about the Chad Thomas injury?
Sound like you got a stinger?
Sprained neck.
Yeah, they carted him off.
That's a little bit more than a stinger there. Yeah, that's what the initial reports were. It might have been but yeah, they carted him off. They it sounded like they weren't sure what it was. Definitely a neck injury, and now he's going to come away with a sprained neck. I'm not sure how much time he's going to miss. Probably not really on the bubble, being a 3rd round pick in year 2.
Sure.
So he was most likely already going to make the team. Going back and watching the game, I was really happy with the amount of physicality that he played with, because he was really, he's a big guy.
Yeah,
he's a pretty good size defensive end. I mean, he's almost big enough to go inside. And, that's what makes him like so stout against the run. He really doesn't have the quickness of a Myles Garrett. It's the thinking was, well, maybe at one point he's going to move in and become like a little bit smaller 3 tech, and that might be something they could do with him, flip him back and forth on running downs, that sort of thing. But I thought in the game, when you went back and watched him, he was doing a really good job of using his size and strength and overpowering guys. And I didn't really, he didn't get a ton of reps last year, but you really didn't see that when he did. You didn't really see him use his power. He also had the benefit of going up against the Karen guard that Lawrence did, and he won basically every single time. Basically, if you went up against that guard, you won your rep. So no matter who it was, they were winning nonstop. And like I said, you don't get to pick who they put across from you. You just have to beat that guy.
Right.
I give him props there. So it's too bad. I really want to see. I'm sure he's at least going to miss this game. I'm not even sure I thought somebody had said day to day. I thought I read that somewhere.
Yeah, we'll figure out.
I mean, sprained neck is a day to day thing now. So, but I really wanted to see him get as much work as possible in the preseason. because you really want to know what kind of rotational pieces you're going to have here. But, what if we get into the season and they're like, all right, Thomas is terrible like he was last year, and now Miles ends up playing 1,100 snaps again. Like, come on, we gotta do better for this defensive line. We got to find some key rotational guys, and that's why I'm hoping it's Lawrence, and that's why I'm hoping it's Thomas here, and you get these guys all kinds of reps.
Yeah, Coley graded out okay. I mean,
wonder who he went up against.
Yep, same thing. Okay,
Karen.
Yeah, Zettel graded out okay. I mean, like you said, that's one game, so we'll see what happens in preseason week 2. These guys start to separate themselves a little bit. You can kind of tell who the coaches are favoring by either where they play, how long they play, and what quarter they play in. So,
yeah,
when we do after preseason week 3, we'll try to put together our 53-man roster. We'll record that, but it kind of you can start to see already even in week 1, and then as we roll here into week 2, just kind of keep your eye on who's in what times, and there's a little bit of a giveaway there.
Yeah, I'd like to see Taki have a bye. I didn't think Taki was all maybe a little bit over aggressive. He had bad angle where he had missed a tackle. Him and Redwine also, and we saw in if you happen to watch Building the Browns, Redwine was talking about how bad his angle was, and he's right. So he had he had that one where he missed the tackle on the play where Mitchell ended up getting the forced fumble. Yeah. So Redwine, just terrible angle, and when you're a free safety, I mean, this is what it's all about. You got to bring these guys down. You got to be the last line of defense and make the sure play. And he takes a terrible angle there. And then he took, there was another pass where they did like the little quarterback rollout, and I can't remember if it was a fullback or the tight end, but it was his man for sure. And he overran the play, got a little bit too aggressive on it, and it ended up turning into a decent sized gain when it should be a minimal gain at best if you're playing it correctly. And then Taki also, missed a tackle, getting over aggressive, and I want to see him bounce back, maybe get his emotions under control. And Building the Browns, you saw Freddie kind of getting into him a bit, into Taki, saying, "Look, man, I want you to be aggressive, but don't let it hurt your game."
Yeah, you can tell that he's got another gear. He seems to be going 110%.
Yeah, but he might have to dial it back to not get in, penalties. And I think the thing Freddie was yelling at him about Building the Browns was a face mask.
Yeah.
Came away from, this is a state-run media doing the Building the Browns, but did you come away with a little better appreciation of Freddie's coaching style and him getting really trying to get the most out of players and getting after them a bit?
Yeah.
Yell at guys.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. I mean, it was like 45 minutes. It's super well produced too. It's like really well done.
Oh,
I've been watching it this year.
This was my favorite episode for sure.
Yeah, it was good. They've been off since, for that month, and then they came back. I thought another great one was Adam Henry telling Beckham, you gotta body that one up. You got your own style. I get it. Whatever, like
so dramatic.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Odell's like, "Hey, how many catches you got in the league?"
Yeah. But it's great if you can see that the guy, he still respects the dude as a coach, even though Beckham knows how good he is. He still has to put that away a little bit and take coaching. So it was kind of cool to see Coach Henry kind of call out, something that he didn't like, just in a simple drill, like, you know what I mean? And they're still out there giving instructions and to top players.
Yeah, and then you also see the he touchdown, and then everybody going crazy, and it sort of, they're selling you on that team unity, and it sure seems like everybody likes one another. Like they're playing hard, they're practicing super hard, they're commenting on how tough practice is, therefore the games feel easy. There was I read somewhere they were saying that Colts practice was like them practicing against the Colts was like less physical than what their everyday practices have been.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And usually when you get with another team, it starts getting more intense, but they're practicing. So the point is, like, they're saying like the team's practicing so intense every single day that they're getting the most out of one another. And And so tons of competition. I mean, one thing John Dorsey talked about is adding competition. And when you look at all these position groups, like there's competition happening. Even though there's Odell's at the top, there's guys underneath them that are trying to push for playing time and are giving, usually in how many years do we go where we're like, all right, well, here's our top 3 guys. And then can we even figure out who 4, 5, and 6 is?
Yeah.
Jesus. Like they're all terrible.
Right. Yeah. Right. It didn't matter who 4, 5, and 6 was.
Yeah, exactly. And now we're like, man, we got to let go of one of these guys that can actually play.
Yeah.
We're just deeper. And that's what was, we knew was going to happen around this time. We're 4 years into this thing after they totally tore it down to the studs. Like this is the whole point of saving money and building up assets and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We're here. Now we're going to, win for at least 14 games probably this year and have a Super Bowl because of it. The sacrifice you put in as a fan paying off.
It's interesting because Willie's, who's been practicing really good, I don't think he had any. Oh, he had where is he?
He had a drop, right? Didn't he have a drop? I'm not looking at the.
I mean, he didn't
stats.
grade out very good. He had 35 snap counts. Yeah, I don't have the stats in front of me either.
He had a catch. He was playing deeper into the game, if you recall. I believe he was in the third quarter. I mean, he's a young guy. He's going into the second year. You're going to rely on him because you're missing Antonio Callaway early, but you also need to get this guy a ton of snaps because he's still learning. Freddie as Freddie would say, he's not a finished product.
1 reception on 3 targets for 8 yards. So,
well, that's one game.
Yeah.
Now, and Freddie brings this up. It's accumulation of every single day, and it's what are you doing today? Who cares what happened yesterday? What are you doing today? And then today's over. All right, what are you doing the next day? But one day is that's what we get to see as fans, right? We don't get to see the other 20 days of practice where he might be out there making plays, and we've seen that. The days I've been out there, he was making plays, and the days where I'm not out there, people are reporting that he's making plays. So it might have just been a rough one for him.
Yeah, not the end of the world by any means. It just just looking at grades from one game, it's not that important. But
yeah,
a lot of people kind of use that to.
Let me ask you this: quarterback, because Freddie had originally said this is we know who the backup is. It's Drew Stanton. Is there if Drew Stanton comes out again and has a terrible game again, and Gilbert plays halfway decent? Does Freddie open up the competition? Yeah,
why not? I don't imagine that would ever stop being something that they look at, even through the season.
I don't know, but that was Freddie's comments earlier, is that Drew Stanton is the backup quarterback.
Yeah, I mean,
those absolutes. I just wish nobody would ever make a statement, like an absolute statement.
If you're early in the season and something happens, then, Stanton's 35. He's a veteran. He's been in the league for a while. You can just kind of hand him the ball and hope he does okay. Where the other dudes are with much less experience and stuff, they're still learning the position. Where Stanton, you can just kind of, hey, just don't fuck up, and maybe we'll get lucky.
Yeah.
But I would say it's constantly under
evaluation.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, it should be. I just, like I said, I didn't like the fact that, he talked about it as if there's no competition.
This might be the better question is, do you want to carry 3 quarterbacks on the 53? And if you're not carrying, carrying 2, you definitely keep Stanton.
If you're only keeping 2, you say?
Yeah, then you keep Stanton, I think, for sure.
Yeah, but can't you just have Stanton agree to be a coach? Can you? I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, you probably. Yeah, you probably only care. All right, is once all the cuts are made, are you sure that you even have the next best quarterback on your team? You know what I mean? Once are other teams going to cut players that are better? I feel like there's going to be opportunity to get better, but you're not going to pick up a quarterback after 4 seasons of preseason and go, this is my backup quarterback. He hasn't been here. That's why you want to have a good quarterback room when you start your preseason. Yeah. I mean, these guys are working together for weeks, learning the playbook, and nobody needs to know the playbook more than them. Like, they have to know it in and out, right?
Yep.
So it's a lot tougher for you to bring in a guy. Like it's easier for you to bring a defensive tackle in and they go, all right, here's your 3 concepts you have to learn, instead of all the terminology, all the different wrinkles that you're putting in, however you're going to communicate with your offensive line, however you're getting the plays in, whatever, all that stuff. It seems like a lot more.
Yeah.
So you're almost stuck at this point.
Well, Blau and Gilbert are also eligible for the practice squad. Gilbert's a little bit older, but I don't think he's got any accrued seasons. He would be eligible for the practice squad. Then you have a guy that knows the offense that you can put on the practice squad. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if that's the case and you're positive that you can get him there, then you go for it. That's what you do, right?
I mean, if somebody would pick him up, are we really worried that?
But that's what I'm saying. What if somebody picked up who was actually your second best quarterback?
Well, then you might want to think about carrying 3 on the 53-man roster to start the season until everyone sort of gets into week 1, and then maybe you can waive and then try to get the guy to you got to waive him. Hopefully he clears waivers to get him to the practice squad. But
unbelievably, we've just talked 10 minutes about the backup quarterback.
Yeah, I wish I had some sound effects.
How many weeks away are we from Grossi asking who's the backup quarterback?
I'm pretty sure that's on the top of his notebook every time that he steps up to the podium, and then he kind of looks around a little sheepishly, and he's like, should I ask it? Fuck, these are hard-hitting questions. I'll give him an easy one.
I'm just going to throw caution to the wind and ask.
Yeah, one of these days, yeah, he's kind of.
Sheepishly. Oh, God. Fine, I'll ask it if nobody else is going to. And he says that before he asks.
Well, if no one else is going to bring up the elephant in the room.
I always got to be the bad guy. Who's the backup quarterback, Freddie?
Oh, fuck, that's funny.
I guess the other thing would be, did Cush played one series and the series went very well. Is Cush going to solidify that job this week, or are we going to be? Is John Dorsey going to be on the horn trying to figure out a solution to the right guard problem? There's a few things to ask here going into this game.
So Cush played 21 snaps.
So he played the first two possessions, right?
Is that right? Okay.
He must have, because the first drive was only to 8 plays or something.
And in 14 pass block opportunities, he gave up a hurry in a pressure. So his pass blocking score was kind of dull.
Yeah.
Well, his run blocking score was good. Yeah, he did play all 21 at right guard. Witzman played 21 at right guard, and Forbes played 31 at right guard. Corbett played 66. He played all the backup center snaps.
Yeah. So Corbett's not even a thought at the right guard position anymore.
Boy, that's kind of sad because, yeah, that's what it seems like right now. Yeah.
But why, if you can't play right guard, what would make you a great center? This is I'm no offensive line guru, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not, but I almost feel like we need to get offensive line coach on here and explain to me why would we think that you could be the center, the future center, but you can't play right guard? Well,
maybe they're well, fuck. We can just back up Treader. Hopefully Treader stays healthy and he'll be the backup center, and we'll just give him all the snaps so that he can be ready to be the backup if he has to be, while we figure out who we want to be the right guard.
Yeah. The only thing I could think of is they want a better put. Maybe they don't think he has enough, he can't get enough push as a right guard. He's maybe a little undersized, and they can get more out of a Cush who's just a Ank.
Yeah.
But Forbes, if you're talking about Forbes, Forbes is not a big guy either.
Could we add somebody to this spot still? Do you think?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and that's what my question is. I think that's still open here. Freddie has said nobody has gone and taken the job yet. I think that's leaving the door open for your added picks on, and I don't know if they're going to use the Duke Johnson pick for who's going to give up. Chances are you're not going to get a starting right guard. You're going to get a guy who got that has maybe some starting potential, but is a guy who had to get let go from another team.
I mean, I would say at this point, Cush is the starter. If the season starts tomorrow, Cush is going to start. He also gets paid to start, or at least between everybody that's there. He's getting $4 million over 2 years to play here. So he also has plenty of experience. I guess you just put him in, and you know what? That's going to be our hole or whatever. That's going to be our light spot. But the whole right side of the line feels like it could be a little bit troubling.
Yeah, I mean Hubbard was okay last year, right? I mean he's another undersized guy. He's not really going to get you a big push in the run game, but he did fine pass protecting.
Yeah, and really that's all he has to do. Like,
let's just be average.
Yeah, and just keep getting the ball out quickly. Let Mayfield step, fire. Let's go. Get it out and keep moving. Just keep him clean for a second and he'll find somebody.
Yeah, he's reading the field exceptionally well, it seems like Mayfield. He was seeing it and getting the ball out, which he's been so good at. So he's got to continue to do that. I mean, that's what happened in the second half of the season last year. They got the ball out of his hands quickly.
Yeah. And then maybe we don't have to worry so much about right guard if he just can't get ran over. Like, he just can't get blown up. All he's got to do, and Cush seems like the dude that you're going to put in there, it's going to at least get in front of somebody and not make, those errors that you saw out of our 2017 line where people were just running free at the quarterback. Like,
oh, you're saying Cam Irvin.
Where you're just like, oh, this play's done from the snap. It was over. At least you can kind of trust Cush to.
Yeah, you can't have immediate pressure. You need, just give me a second. At least let me get my drop.
Yeah.
Let me get my drop before I get murdered.
Yeah, and then we have running backs that can make people miss, and they're very good at making the first tackler miss with Hunt and Chubb. I'm not too worried about the run game, even if our line isn't like perfectly set up to be this, road grading group. Just don't let Mayfield get hit, and then you can still turn around and hand the ball to Chubb, and I got no worries that he's gonna find space to run.
Yeah.
And Hunt, when he gets back week 10, same thing. He's a dude that will make people miss. He's a guy that'll break a first tackle, first contact.
Yeah, and if you're spreading the ball, if you're spreading out, the defense, then that sort of creates like natural lanes, anyways. In a lot of these, you'll see it. The less guys they have in the box, because and I know they were doing the 2-minute drill to practice the 2-minute drill, but maybe they should look into adding some more of that to the actual, just the everyday offense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. This doesn't seem the type of team to me on 3rd and short to come out and run the ball. It seems like a team that's still going to spread it out and throw the ball and not even mind throwing the ball down the field.
What's interesting, all the metrics show you that you're actually better off spreading it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And running the ball in those cases. It's actually, it's a good idea to run on 3rd and short, but it's a better idea to run on 3rd and short and have a spread formation. According to, if you read Warren Sharp's books, he talked about it so often. Like, yeah, hey, go ahead and run on 3rd and short. You guys are doing the right concept, but don't bring in a fullback and 2 tight ends, because then they know what you're doing and you're just running right into the teeth of the defense. Bring in your 3 wide receivers, spread the ball out, spread out the formation and then run the ball.
Yeah,
because
agreed.
You're only having to make, one guy miss, or you have more open lanes, to run the ball through. So it's crazy that these things really have not caught on more in the NFL, where they look at that data and then they change up. And obviously it's moving in that direction, but teams need to do it more often than what they are even doing now.
Yeah. What else do we got?
I don't know. Do we have anything else? But I did want to bring up one thing. Just like an interesting look back. If you don't have anything else, I'll get into that. Chad Thomas injury we covered. Joe Carriage we covered. Orson Charles. Stipe Miocic is fighting this weekend. If you want to support a former UFC champ going back to get his belt back, fighting Daniel Cormier
in LA.
I don't know where they're fighting.
Oh, okay. I think it's in LA.
I got a chance to go to that fight when he beat when they were in Cleveland. Man, that place was
must have been rocking.
Woo! It was that was a good time.
And he's a huge Browns fan too.
Yep. Just
super
huge
awesome.
Cleveland dude.
Should we? I don't even want to bring it up. Cowherd and
No.
Mayfield. No.
If you want, look, I've said it on here before, and I'm going to say it again. If you retweet Cowherd stuff, I don't block anybody, but I'm going to be forced to mute. Like, I don't want to see Cowherd, who's just pandering for your retweets and for you for attention, and then you're giving this guy attention on his terrible takes. He is the Skip Bayless to LeBron. Cowherd is to Baker Mayfield what Skip Bayless was to LeBron. Okay, you're just going to hate on the guy. And, we'll get into the playoffs if we don't win a championship. And he'll say, well, he's never won a championship, though. And it's because, he drinks beer and shotguns beers or something of that nature. Like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about it. But if you want to say something about it, now is your time. I'll give you one free pass.
I don't really want to. I'm not even sure what was said, but Cowherd said something. Mayfield might have said something on Barstool or something, and then Cowherd said something, and then
a lot of somethings.
Colin said that, Baker's didn't tweet back at him, so he's like, Baker's changing, even though Baker said that he's not going to change for anybody. It's a very dumb story. And just like you said, Cowherd is basically just... he needs clicks. And so he knows that, well, if I go after Mayfield, I'm going to get my clicks for the day. He's media. And that's how they sort of count their...
Yep.
That's how
ducats.
Yeah. That's how he gets a bag or whatever the kids say these days.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I guess we're probably done.
Oh, I wanted to do my one thing. Okay,
I thought your one thing was...
There was
Stipe.
no. I was just bringing up that Stipe. I was bringing up that Stipe was fighting, but because a lot of people don't know. Yesterday, Jimmy Garoppolo apparently threw 5 picks and 5 passes at practice. Okay, and it got me thinking. I was like, man, we were really close to having Jimmy Garoppolo. And if you remember, it was a shitstorm. Sashi screwed the whole thing up by not being able to acquire Garoppolo for that second round pick, if you recall. And to think back, do you realize, like think about where we would be, how we dodged a bullet. And I'm not saying Garoppolo really, I saw a stat that Garoppolo has actually played less snaps than what Baker Mayfield has, right? So Garoppolo's dealt with the injuries. Yeah. He's had his moments and he's had his bad moments. And I just saw this, the 5 interceptions sort of brought it up like, oh man, we would have had that. And if you recall, it was a second round pick and the Browns should have been in on it. And Zagura was on state run media completely just, basically throwing stuff around the room because they were so pissed that we couldn't get this deal done. We were a complete failure by the Browns front office not to get this, this deal done. Mary Kay was wanting to trade the first overall pick, maybe not that one, but the second first round pick.
Yeah.
And I had said at the time, look, if I'm Sashi, I'd probably do the deal because then I'm not getting fired. Because I had a feeling, if you remember this, and I was like, I don't trust Haslam. If I'm Sashi Brown, I don't trust Haslam to give me the time to get into my year 3 when I'm going to take my quarterback.
Right.
I feel like, hey, I would probably give up that second first round pick if I'm him, just to ensure that I have a job. But think about this. The complete failure that would have been if we ended up getting Jimmy Garoppolo, we never draft Baker Mayfield.
Well, maybe.
Exactly. No, not maybe. We do exactly what the 49ers did. 49ers sat there in prime position to get a quarterback and did not draft a quarterback.
So didn't the 49ers, because the 49ers didn't get Garoppolo till, that wasn't at the beginning of the season. Yeah, it was late in the season, right? And then the 49ers ran off 5 straight wins.
Yep. And then they paid Jimmy Garoppolo a $20 million a year contract after the season.
Get your bag, son. Yeah.
And then they had the second pick in the NFL draft. Or was it the third? They had the second, and they traded with the Bears, right? Wait, they drafted Solomon Thomas, defensive end, who has done nothing. It's surprising to me. I actually thought he was going to be good, but he's ends up being this tweener that doesn't know if he's a defensive tackle or defensive end, and he's having a terrible time. in San Francisco. But they were sitting right there. They could have taken Trubisky. They could have taken
Mahomes. That was 2016. Yeah. They went 2-14 because remember we didn't want to win that game late because we wanted Garrett badly. So we were on the please lose games. That was before Garoppolo got.
Yeah, that
Garoppolo
was
got there
before
the next year.
So they came back next year. Yes, you're right. So where did they draft? You're right. I screwed that up. So where did they draft last year?
So then in
Joe Staley's who they took.
Yeah, 2017 they win 5 games in a row to close out the season. I don't know who they beat or whatever. It's not important. They finish 6-10 and they pit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 9th, somewhere in that area, 9th. So the Giants won 3 games. The Browns won 0, obviously. If we would have got Garoppolo, do we win? We probably don't win 5 in a row with that crew.
No, we probably win 2 or something.
So we might have still been able to take the first overall pick, but they probably don't go with Mayfield.
So then not only...
I guess you're right. Yeah, fuck. They would have probably picked somebody else.
Yeah, we probably would have traded back at that point because we go, oh, we already got a quarterback. And why did I say Joe Staley? They the 49ers selected Mike McGlinchey.
Yep.
Right?
Yep, there you go. That's it. That's exactly right.
And I'm not sure if Josh, could they have had, Josh Allen or the Rosen, they're probably not better. But the fact that they didn't go quarterback because they go, we have Jimmy Garoppolo, that could have been us easily. Like, we're lucky that trade didn't work. We're lucky we didn't, that they lost the paperwork for, what's his name from the Bengals. We're lucky that we went 0-16 to end up getting Baker Mayfield number 1 overall. We're lucky we went 1-15 to get Myles Garrett. Like, think about that. Like, as much as we go, oh, we went through 1-31, it was so hard. We are so goddamn lucky that happened to us, because now we sit where we sit with the players. I mean, those are the if without those 2 guys, we aren't half the team of what we could be. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You have a star in the making on defense who will be a defensive MVP candidate for I can't even tell you how many years, and you have a guy in offensive quarterback that's going to be an offensive MVP candidate for I can't tell you how many years.
Right, and that adds up to maybe 1 Super Bowl MVP
for each, or
if we're lucky.
one a year.
Fuck yeah! Let's just let them pass it around every year. That's the goal, right? The goal isn't to go 8-8. The goal is to go 13-3 and get in the playoffs and win the Super Bowl.
Sure.
Unless you want to just be 9-7 or 7-9 and like, oh, okay, we won some games. That was a fun season. See you next year.
Jimmy Garoppolo would have been the perfect 7-9 quarterback. And boy, do you remember all those fans that were just so angry that the Browns just didn't care about winning for a year? Can you believe they don't want to win?
Yeah.
They gave away everybody and they don't want to win. It's almost like they're going to start from scratch. Who would do this?
Sometimes when you're in the middle of it, you can't see, you're just, the trees are surrounding you. You don't see the sun. But you got to just remember that the sun is there and eventually you'll dig out of the trees.
Yeah. Or maybe you just don't, maybe you're just completely blind, because that's like what Daryl Ryder was saying the entire time. Like, you're just completely blind to the way the whole thing works. And now you're like the number 1 fan of the whole deal. Like, yeah, we got Baker, we got Odell. Yes. You see what John Dorsey did?
Yeah, well, that's what we kept saying. Like, oh, just watch Garrett play in his rookie year. Just watch him play. Like, we don't need to win games. Watch, Schobert figure it out. Watch Agba figure it out. Watch Njoku play. Like, just enjoy those players without having to win games, and then
enjoy the process.
Enjoy the process. Yep.
Because it won't be like this for long if you do it right. If you do it correctly, you acquire the talent. And then, you insert that quarterback and you get the right coach. And next thing you know, boom, you're ready. You're ready to compete. And we don't know about Freddie yet. Freddie's got a lot to prove. But if Freddie ends up being the right coach.
I'll say this right now. 1-15 last year is way easier than 6-10 this year. Like if we go 6-10 this year, it is going to be the worst. Like we are going to be beyond like 1-15. It was just like, okay, let's come in and talk about the game after the game. Yeah, sometimes we were pissed. Sometimes we were like down, but that will be so much easier than if they have an average year this year. It's going to be hard to deal with. Like if
and we've had a few shows where I've lost my mind and gone off, and it's been a while. But if we went 6-10, and without if Baker Mayfield gets hurt and we go 6-10, I understand it. If Baker is healthy and we go 6-10, I will be losing my mind often this year. right,
because we're going to be able to point to something specific.
Yes,
that's a problem. I think that's another thing where we didn't have it before.
It's going to be Cush, right?
Yeah. We didn't. You just didn't have a quarterback before, so there was nowhere to land anything. It was just like, well, all the receivers suck, the running backs suck, the quarterback sucks. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if Joe Thomas is first ballot Hall of Famer at left tackle. Like the quarterback sucks. So
yes,
and then whatever defense we play, like. If Peppers is 75 yards off the ball, it doesn't matter. Like it really didn't matter because we weren't that good. So now I think we'll have some square blame to place, which is going to be weird because before it was just like, oh, everything sucks.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's hard to evaluate when you're supposed to lose.
Yeah.
Then you're almost like, well, we almost won. We don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, now I think it's going to be a different sort of season where
expectations are high, man, as they should be.
It could be a stressful year. I don't even know. Like you said, if 6-10, boy, we're going to be losing our shit, and it's going to be that's going to be interesting.
I feel very confident about this team.
Yeah, me too.
Let's wrap it up.
What's our Twitter?
At STS Podcast, and our email is
season@gmail.com, patreon.com/STS Podcast. If you want to support the show, thank you all for supporting. Shout out to Mike Lamb. Thanks for the Patreon pickup there. Thank you very much. Appreciate your support always, brother. Anything else? We need some reviews because I don't have any reviews to read out loud. So if somebody send in a review so we can read it out loud and call you out. I think that's it. Thank you, everybody, again. Really appreciate it. It's going to be a fun season. Greg, tell them what we say.
Keep on surviving.